Beneath my feet were the bones of 1,000 years. I thought, I cannot bear this world a moment longer.
Then, child, make another, Madeline Miller.
What if my sadness is actually my most brutal teacher? And the lesson is always this: you don't have to be like the buffaloes. You can stop. Ocean Vuong.
Anyone can find places, but the finding of people is a gift from God. Yim Forster.
I am my mother's daughter. I am midnight sun. You can find me on the moon, waxing and waning, my heart full of petals, every single one begging, love me, love me, love me. Whoever I am, whoever I become, love me, love me, love me. Andrea Gibson.
Pieces of broken hourglass, trying to get it all back, put it back together, as if the time had never passed. I know I should walk away, know I should walk away, but I just wanna let you break my brain, and I can't seem to get a grip. No, no matter how I live with it, these are the last blues we're ever gonna have. Let's see how deep we'll get. The glow of the cities below lead us back to the places that we never should have left. The last blues we're ever gonna have. Let's see how deep we'll get. The glow of the cities below lead us back to the places that we never should have left. The last, the last, the last, the last, the last, the last.
Good morning. My name is Tia MacDonald, and I'm a sixth form day student from Granville, Massachusetts, a town just over the Connecticut border. The song you just heard is called Bishop's Knife Trick, and for me, it's the kind of song that you hear and you just instantly know it's going to have its own place in your heart forever. The beginning of the chorus, "These are the last blues we're ever gonna have," is what caught me, because I look at my life like that, in shades of blue. My bedroom, the sky, and my childhood dreams of having wings, a smothering apathy and a drowning depression that have flit about the shadows of my life. My cousin's favorite color, the cobalt vase with these lovely artificial blue flowers that my grandmother gave me after he killed himself. When she presented the gift, she had said to me, "Because your favorite color is blue, and you see everyone else getting flowers, so I figured you would want some too." I accepted them, but simmered with a quiet rage over the fact that she knew I had wanted flowers. His name was Will. He was born April 2nd, 1998, and lived in Suffield, Connecticut. He had the sweetest, most gentle heart and was so intelligent. He would design 2-scale models of battleships, carriers, submarines, jets, skyscrapers, houses, and all sorts of breathtakingly detailed things in a Minecraft server where he created his own city. I have one memory of putting my stuffed cat on his head and many stuffed frogs all around him while he was building one of his ships, and he just didn't react at all. As a child of around 8 or 10, I was a little hurt about being ignored, as children of that age tend to respond, but I remember this tender feeling of thinking that he didn't mind. He was around 16 then, and most teenage boys would have been annoyed, thrown the animals off, and yelled at me to go away so he could focus. But he didn't do any of those things, and that meant something. He killed himself January 16th, 2017, 6 years and 8 days ago. In less than 8 months, I will be the same age as him. The same age he will always be. I can't convey how wrong and improbable that feels. How wrong and improbable it is that I should be anything but his younger cousin, the little girl that loved watching him play GTA, especially when he was using absurd sports cars to intentionally crash into things. A girl that I did not know, and that he had known for just 1 semester into college, came to his funeral. She shared how kind he was to everyone, that he would go through all of his drawers looking for snacks when friends and strangers alike came to his room and were hungry. It is a small thing, but to arrive at a place and be extended sustenance is perhaps the most human thing we can experience. The body aching, "I'm here, I'm here, I'm here," and the knowing hand that passes on life, at once whispering, "I know, I see, here." while wishing to witness the replications of that moment soon again. The first few months after he died, I didn't behave or feel much different. I was 12 and in 6th grade then, and I've come to realize that it's hard to process grief at that age. As human beings, we are constantly expected to do, say, be all of these things all of the time. So much so that, even as a preteen, there was an expectation that I had felt that I had to return to normal. Life, unfortunately, goes on. So when Will died, I coped in the way of putting a tight lid over my feelings and thoughts in the hopes that just the barest amounts of steam would escape and nothing more. In 7th grade, the pot started boiling over because of the combination of my unexamined grief, my father's cancer, and that another girl in town had killed herself. In the year following, the foaming water started burning onto the stove. My family lost another 3 that year. It's hard to ask for help when you don't know yourself what the disease is, what the matter is. And it's hard to ask for help when people, including yourself, want you and need you to be happy, presentable, normal. And it's especially hard when you have to quickly adjust to Westminster in the midst of all that. We have a specific way of life here. We have family-style lunch and afternoon program, and we see each other constantly in the classroom, in the halls, on the field, in the dining hall. Everyone, everywhere, all the time. That kind of lifestyle is overwhelming for someone who liked to isolate themselves in middle school. Even until March of my freshman year, I would sit alone in the day student lounge, and when that spot became too busy or loud, I would go right to the lobby of the theater after classes ended to do work there until afternoon program began. The time before rehearsals for Medea started was always long and quiet, yet I relished the time I had to myself. There are 100 things I could say here, times I could share that I cried my eyes out and felt cursed for being sent to this place and for feeling like an ugly duck that was a comedy show for swans. On the closing night of Medea, I walked alone under the streetlights that run parallel to the old gym and art studio. The pervasive numbness that I had felt accumulating faster and faster since my arrival at Westminster spread at last to my feet, both of them quivering from carrying the weight of my own silence. I stopped. I stared at the emptiness of the road and mistook it for my soul. I wanted to become the night. I wanted to disappear into my own darkness and stop feeling everything about this human life. Some people, after all, venture into the jungle hoping that they never find their way out. I was very close to giving up on everything, especially Westminster. I remember when Mr. Stevens asked my freshman year English class if we felt like Westminster was our home yet. It was around October then, and he went on to say that some kids feel at home in a couple of days, others in a couple weeks, and for a few, a couple months. I remember sitting in my chair thinking, well, my time is running out, and he didn't say there was an alternative for the people who don't make it there after a few months. And I felt like he didn't say what the alternative was because those people all disappeared in one form or another. It was someone in my advisory, surprisingly or unsurprisingly, that saved me. They whisked me away from my solitude in the day student lounge and brought me into the library where I am likely to be found to this day. Together, we went to a feed at our advisor's house at the very end of our first winter term. We were goofballs that chose to sit outside on the front lawn before going inside with everyone else. We talked for a while about things now lost forever to time. But it's true what people say. We can forget what people say to us and what we say to them, but never how they make us feel. I don't remember much about the feat itself, but I will never forget the minutes before it started. The image of two girls that didn't quite know each other, bundled tight and close together against the night's cold, resting on a winter lawn that's ready to awake into spring again. Community, community, community. That's the buzzword here. We talk and scheme up all of these events and presentations obsessed with creating the ideal collection of students and faculty that will love, cherish, and embrace every single person on the Hill. We discuss all the ways and all of the possible added programming to make this school perfect. And while I commend this goal and everyone who has done anything to make progress toward that goal, I think we look at life in this community in the wrong way. I shared a few of my favorite things about Will, but he was a flawed person. I am a flawed person. We all are flawed people, and Westminster is a flawed place. In my first year, I felt the searing heat of judgment and the bitter cold of indifference from people here. I know all of you have too, some of us more than others. And I think some of the loneliest moments of my life have been on Williams Hill. But there are a few things I haven't shared. In that same freshman English class, we had to write a personal essay that we were then split into groups to share. I was racked with anxiety over whether to share my piece, a deeply personal reflection about attending a funeral. And so I spoke with Mr. Stevens about it, and he said it was up to me if I wanted to share. In my group, I worried about what to do when the chatter of one girl suddenly stopped because the boy in our group said I still had to share. I managed a mere, I don't know yet if I want to share. The girl jumped in and added that was why she was still talking and quickly jumped right back into whatever she was talking about. I was very confused, but relieved. I thanked her after class, and she just shrugged and said, I heard you talking to Mr. Stevens about it, before walking off. It was nothing, and yet everything. Over Zoom my sophomore year, I had an assignment to simply write about an amazing experience from Mr. Rashid's short story to film class. I wrote about the time I bugged Will to the point where he picked me up, crossed the house, then dropped me on my aunt's lap and said, "Package for you." It was a memory I hadn't touched in a while. And when I presented it, I explained it away apologetically, saying that it was random and probably not what he was looking for. But Mr. Rashid just smiled and said that it was very good, that he could see the way my face lit up when I was talking about it, and that was what he wanted to see from us. The moment was there and gone, but it relieved me to a degree that I didn't expect. It's relieving to reveal a past that's as fragile as glass and be met with love and recognition. And those are just two memories. There is so much good to be found here, to be found in the people here, if we reframe the way we look at Westminster. This place will never be perfect, and no one here is truly going to love and be friends with everyone else. It's just not how people work. But having an open mind about people every now and then, buying in to at least a few of the values and norms at Westminster can go a long way toward finding your people here. I know I am extremely lucky to have found mine, and that not everyone's experience mirrors my own. But I think there's a greater happiness to be found in thinking about our community, not on the grand, generalized scale, but through the individuals and the kindness and empathy many here will offer. I have to take a moment to apologize to my advisor and most of my friends for delivering the typical "how Westminster changed me" chapel talk. The truth, though, is that I think high school is such a time for invention and the unearthing of our own skins, so it would be a lie to say that I haven't become a better person while here. A partial lie, at least. I don't think anything about Westminster itself has changed who I am. Nothing. But the people here have allowed me to find the best parts of myself and have pushed me to grow, love, and live. Live. There's a long list of things that need fixing at Westminster, but I think if we stop only looking at our school as only the sum of its parts, there are so many undiscovered, remarkable things, remarkable people that are worth loving. And so I thank you all for the memories I will get to walk away from this place with. And I am sorry to every one of you for not making more with you. My surviving cousin, Matt, posted a video to his Snapchat story this past December of his older brother, Will. It was from memories, a video taken 6 years to the date, and it showed Will in a dapper black trench coat with matching black gloves walking at night on a city street. Him being in college then, it sounds mature, classy, and cinematic even, until I say that he was dabbing while turning toward the camera to give his characteristically goofy grin, thus causing him to almost stumble into a parked car. I think now of where the two of them were going on that night, and where Will saw himself going. I wonder if the light he was chasing was just brighter than the lights we left on for him, the lights that we never knew we were praying would lead him back home. The video is full of vibrant life and cackling, and it's hard to believe he only had a month left then. Happiness, so often, is the best decoy for despair. And so, to lost and wandering souls, I ask that you hold on to hope, that whatever drags you down will one day relent. You just have to hold on to see that day. Celebrating what you can and doing even the smallest things for others can and will ease the tension in both your own and someone else's heart, the way the people here have eased mine. We have to be active in finding our own happiness, and that often means getting out of our own way, something I realize is far easier said than done. So, to my closest friends and the people I have yet to meet, I send all of my love and the yearning that every breath for you gets easier and fills your lungs with the wonderful, gritty, joyous stuff that life's made of, and that it stays sweet. Thank you. So, this is a poem that is originally written and performed by Andrea Gibson, a genderqueer slam poet from Colorado. And I share it with you all today because it's something that's been with me since middle school, and even my freshman year, I would walk outside of Armour in the dark while waiting for my parents to pick me up, and I would just whisper this under my breath. And even today, when I run or swim, I play this on loop in my brain. And although I don't share Andrea Gibson's gender identity and their lived experiences are not my own, I have found so much truth in it that I hope some of you might find something of your own in it. Andrea Gibson's struggle is both singular and universal, and I think that is the genius in true art, to be able to embody one's own lived experiences and still have that art touch the recesses of every other person's heart. The poem also references Tyler Clementi, an 18-year-old boy who killed himself after being the victim of cyberbullying when his roommate targeted him for sexuality by placing cameras in their shared room and filming Clementi in a private moment with another boy and streaming that footage live on social media. I encourage all of you to look into the incident further because queer history is human history, is our history. So, this is the nutritionist. The nutritionist said I should eat root vegetables. Said if I could get down 13 turnips a day, I would be grounded. Rooted said my head would not keep flying away to where the darkness lives. The psychic told me my heart carries too much weight. Said for $20 she'd tell me what to do. I hand her the 20. She said, "Stop worrying, darling, you'll find a good man soon." The yogi told me to stretch everything but the truth, said to focus on the out-breath, said everyone finds happiness if they can care more about what they give than what they get. The pharmacist said Klonopin, Lamictal, Lithium, Xanax. The doctor said an antipsychotic might help me forget what the trauma said. The trauma said, "Don't write this poem." Nobody wants to hear you cry about the grief inside your bones. My bones said, Tyler Clementi dove into the Hudson River convinced he was entirely alone. My bones said, "Write the poem." To the lamplight, considering the riverbed, to the chandelier of your faith hanging by a thread, to every day you could not get out of bed, to the bullseye of your wrist, to anyone who has ever wanted to die. I have been told sometimes the most healing thing we can do is remind ourselves over and over and over, other people feel this too. The tomorrow that has come and gone and has not gotten better, when you are half finished writing that letter to your mother that says, "I swear to God, I tried, but when I thought I hit bottom, it started hitting back. There was no bruise. Like the bruise, loneliness kicks into the spine. So let me tell you, I know there are days when it looks like the whole world is dancing in the streets while you break down. Like the doors of their looted buildings, you are not alone. And wondering who will be convicted of the crime of insisting you keep loading your grief into the chamber of your shame. You are not weak just because your heart feels so heavy. I have never met a heavy heart that wasn't a phone booth with a red cape inside. Some people will never understand the kind of superpower it takes some people to just walk outside some days. I know my smile looks like a gutter on a falling house, but my hands are always holding tight to the ripcord of believing a life can be rich like the soil, can make food of decay, turn wound into highway, pick me up in a truck with that bumper sticker that says it is no measure of good health to be well adjusted to a sick society. I have never trusted anyone with the pulled back bow of my spine the way I trust the ones who come undone at the throat, screaming for their pulse to find the fight to pound 4 nights before Tyler Clementi jumped from the George Washington Bridge. I was sitting in a hotel room calculating exactly what I had to swallow to keep a bottle of sleeping pills down. What I know about living is the pain is never just ours. Every time I hurt, I know the wound is an echo, so I keep listening. For the moment, the grief becomes a window when I can see what I couldn't see before through the glass of my most battered dream. I watched a dandelion lose its mind in the wind, and when it did, it scattered 1,000 seeds. So the next time I tell you how easily I come out of my skin, don't try to put me back in. Just say, here we are, together at the window, aching for it to all get better, but knowing there's a chance our hearts may have only just skinned their knees, knowing there's a chance the worst day might still be coming. Let me say right now, for the record, I am still going to be here, asking this world to dance, even if it keeps stepping on my holy feet. You stay here with me, okay? You stay here with me. Raising your bite to the bitter dark, your bright longing, your brilliant fist of loss, friend. If the only thing we have to gain in staying is each other, my God, that is plenty. My God, that is enough. My God, that is so, so much for the light to give. Each of us at each other's backs, whispering over and over and over, live, live, live. Thank you.